I don't have to correct you.
This is Sean with Rock All Photography Music Magazine, and I have the honor of sitting down with Diamond Rowe from the band Tetrarch. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, first of all, thanks for sitting down and talking with me today. How's the run on this tour been so far, besides really freaking cold?
Really cold. I can't emphasize that enough. It's been really cold. But it's been really good, actually. This is the first headliner we've done since the record came out, since Freak came out. So it's been good to kind of see where we've connected with people in places we've never been before. A lot of people who have heard us on XM that come out, or that just at different ways they found us through that record. It's been good to see, and it's good to see like how it's helped us a lot.
Absolutely.
So it's been a good run. It's like it's been like 6 weeks long or so. So yeah, I have no complaints.
Short and sweet.
Yeah,
just right amount of time.
Not bad at all. We could go like another 4 months though, but you know, it's been great and no complaints.
Well, good. I saw you guys perform here with Devil Driver like maybe a year or so ago. Maybe even longer.
Year
than
and
that.
a half, maybe.
Year and
yeah.
a half. How have things been since then, and releasing Freak? Progress.
Yeah, it's crazy. So when Freak was about to come out when we went on that tour, I think it came out the last day we played of that tour. When we played the Hollywood day.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of like our CD release show essentially, because it came out the next day, I think. But it's been crazy. That record's done so much more than we thought it would even do as an independent band. Like, we chose to stay independent for this release. And we were always kind of like, we set some goals and we were like, if we can just achieve this, we'll be happy with how that record sets up Tetrarch. And it exceeded it by like a million times. Like, just the support we've gotten from press and the support we got from XM radio and from terrestrial radio, just, you know, everywhere like that, and just some of the festivals we've landed and some of the tours we've gotten on this, and it's just been great. Like,
that's awesome. Yeah,
that record really did more for us than we expected it to do, but that we worked for it to do. You know what I'm saying? So we're really proud of it. We definitely in the last year and a half to 2 years have really set ourselves up for being the type of band we want to be, and we're happy about it.
Well, you kind of touched on my next question. I'm a big fan of Jose Mangan.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Sirius XM and Liquid Metal, and he seems to be a huge advocate for you guys and getting you on the air. How did that relationship form and grow? It's
crazy because, you know, like growing up, even like when I was learning about metal, when I was like 13 and 12, and I would cut on XM radio. Jose was who was on there. I think back then it was called like
Heart Attack,
and there was another one, and I remember I used to listen to those all the time, and he was on there. Mm-hmm. And when we got with our publicist, Maria, she actually was like, have you guys talked to Jose before? And we're like, no, you know, that'd be cool, but we've never met him. So she was like, I'm going to talk to him, you know. So I think, actually it was at that last Devil Driver show, he was there, but he came late. He missed our set. But she tracked him down on the street and was like, you need to talk to this band, you know? He was like, all right. So he came and introduced himself. He was like, hey, you know, I'm going to throw some of your stuff on. And we were like, this is great, you know? And it got a really good response when he put Freak on Liquid Metal. And from then on, like, he asked us to play his Affliction taco party last Christmas, and that was fun too. And like, we've kind of bonded since then. He's been like the craziest advocate for our band. It's been amazing. Awesome. Like, he's definitely done his part for.
I even heard you guys on Octane for a while too. Like, he's one of the new like emerging artists in that.
And it was great.
I was really proud of you guys. Like, every time I hear him or you guys, you know, being mentioned, it makes me really excited.
Yeah, and it was insane with the Octane thing. It was like, we would turn on the radio literally every time we would turn on Octane. Within like 5 minutes, they would play our song, and we're like, this is crazy.
That's literally my next question. How cool is it to hear your music on the radio?
It's cool, and what the coolest part about it for us was seeing how many people XM radio actually reached, because we hear it on there, we know we listen to it, and we're like, oh, this is so cool. But then online, at shows, on tours, when people come up and they say, we're like, how'd you hear about us for the first time? And they're like, oh, Octane. You know, you really start to realize how much of a reach it had. So we were like, man, that's crazy. And we made the Devil's Dozen with Jose on Liquid Metal, and we had like one of the top 10 played songs on Octane this summer. So it was crazy to see that, you know, for an independent band, that literally everything that we achieved with radio and everything were things that people would be like, oh, independently it might be hard for you guys to do that. You can't do that. We did it, and it was.
But that's great though.
Yeah.
That gives people hope. You know, that's that positive light people need. Like they're starting off a band and like, oh, we're just by ourselves. But no, you can do it if you have the right mindset.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I love the album.
Thank you.
Freak. It's still in my playlist. Was there something specific in the naming of the song Freak and the album Freak?
So we knew, like, the song Freak, we didn't know if it was, or the title Freak, we didn't know if it was going to be, like, the album title or anything like that. We started tossing around some ideas before we even recorded the record. Because we kind of knew, we had an idea of where we wanted the songs to go and the style we wanted to be. And I remember one day, I think it was in the bathroom or something, I like texted Josh in the other room. I was like, dude, what about Freak? That would be really cool. And he's like, that is pretty cool. And it kind of laid like groundwork for lyrically the record.
That's cool.
So it kind of was like a casual idea that just ended up sticking really well.
Well, that's, you know, interesting you said that, because, you know, I always wonder when I talk to people in bands, you know, what comes first, like the music or the title or the lyrics, or is it a mix of it? I mean, how does that process work for you all?
There's never a set way. I don't think. I think every band does it completely different,
right.
And every band does it different every time. Sometimes for us, it's a lot of times it's music first. Me and Josh will start demoing stuff or writing stuff. We might jam it in the space with the rest of the guys.
Right.
And then after that, usually it's the music for us that kind of helps us get ideas. Sometimes we have an idea first. We're like we do for the next record. We have we have like ideas first, and we're like, yeah, that's gonna be killer. And then like it kind of helps with the style of the music, you know, or how aggressive it is, or how catchy it is. So it can go either way, and for us, it goes either way. For us, usually lyrics are last.
Okay.
Usually it's like music and ideas and like topics first, and then lyrics come after.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, because I think you have some songwriters out there that are like poets, you know, and then I think about how hard it would almost be to write music to those words versus the other way around.
And some people think that's easier,
right,
you know,
right.
because they're like, oh, the lyrics give me a foundation, and,
right.
and for us, we're like completely different. Like,
I agree with your method. You know, my mind would work in that manner versus the other way around. I think the cool thing about Freak is it touches on so many different genres. When you listen to each song, you know, you have a genre in itself, but you kind of wave between, you know, hard rock and metal, and, you know, was that the intention? Is that how the music's always been with you guys, or have you migrated towards one direction or the other?
I would say it's fully intentional, because the bands we liked growing up, and the bands that we kind of want to model ourselves after, not necessarily like genre-wise, but like their level of success, we're always kind of like what people call like a gateway metal band. And like some people would smash me for saying that, you know, but like we really loved the bands that resonated with us were like Linkin Park and, you know, Disturbed and Slipknot and Korn and Metallica, and bands that like literally had such a mass appeal while still being able to be heavy, or there was no limit to what they could do.
Deftones were like that for me. They were my gateway. You know, they had that mix, and then I started creeping towards that harder stuff.
Exactly, you know? and that's the type of band we want to be. Like, we don't want it to be where we're so heavy to where other people can't really get into us, but we don't want to be like a pop rock band, you know. That's not. So just somewhere like in the middle, and being able to have a little bit of both. We've always liked that, and it's worked to our benefit. As much as some people might feel like it's like, oh, but you're teetering on the edge of something. It's like, you know,
you open a fan base up that can be all different types.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's if it's tactical or not. You know, you're touching on different genres, and you're bringing in a larger fan base.
If you can figure out a way to like meld it together where it's like, you know, this is Tetrarch, or like the way Slipknot, they have like Snuff, but they also have like, you know, Wait and Bleed, but you still know that's Slipknot. You know, we wanted to be the same. Like, our softer side and our heavier side, you still know that's Tetrarch. So
I have fun living vicariously through you. We're friends on Facebook.
Yeah. And
I see how positive you are, and you seem so determined. And what drives that for you?
We all have like we're lucky in the fact that all of us have like really strong support systems too. So
That's
like
good.
we have like families that are like they're like, don't settle for anything, especially my dad. Like, don't settle for, is that band as big as Metallica? You don't want to be like them. You want to be like Metallica, you know? And it's just like, and it, as silly as it is, you know, you really like, you like learn to think that way all the time, you know, all of us. That's the type of band we want to be like. I have so many favorite bands that are underground as well, and that are huge, but like, what we want to do is be a huge band. And you have to be positive. You have to know that it can happen for it to happen. I feel like the reason it hasn't happened for a lot of bands, in my opinion, is they feel like it can't happen. Like, there's so many, the industry is telling so many bands, no band can be that big anymore. Like, bands don't get that big anymore. You just can't do it. And I am like, well, if you feel that way inside, you're not going to get that big.
Yeah,
because you're just going to be like, there's no point in trying.
Or you're setting the goal too high, the bar too high, and you're always going to be let down if you set it beyond reasonable, you know.
Yeah,
area.
but for us, it's like I genuinely believe that with the tools we have and the mindset that we have, we can achieve what we look to, and I genuinely believe that. So it's not hard for me to.
That's the way to be for
Yeah.
sure. How'd you decide to pick up a guitar and? Was there like a reason behind it, or it was cool, or you were into the music?
It's crazy. I've always liked music, but I think I was 12 maybe. I had a friend. I went to private school, but I had a friend. She was a little older than me, and I was into like, you know, pop and hip hop at the time. But she really liked bands like Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all that kind of stuff. And she was older than me, so I kind of looked up to her. I was like, oh, she's kind of cool, you know? So I was like, let me look up this, like, Kurt Cobain guy. She's always talking about, like, Nirvana and all this stuff. And I actually really dug him. So I went and bought a Nirvana record and a System of a Down record. I think those were the first two records I ever bought, Toxicity. And I, like, started listening to, you know, the radio and learning about rock and metal bands. I loved it. And it's weird. I tell people all the time, I don't remember a point where I was like, I think I want to play an instrument. You know, I was in the car with my mom. Literally, I remember listening to the radio with her, listening to something. I was like, just the idea popped in my head, like, it'd be cool to play guitar. And she's like, okay. Like, literally, I swear that's how it happened. There was no premature.
Cool,
yeah, and she went, like, I think that week.
Supported you in that. You know,
yeah.
It wasn't a fight.
No.
It wasn't go play piano.
Oh, God, no.
Like,
she went and bought me a guitar, and, like, my parents got me lessons, and, like, that was it. And, like, I took that guitar to the bathroom, like, I didn't put it down for like 10, 12 hours a day. Like, that's all I did. It just stuck. I don't really know. Maybe it was meant to be. I don't know.
and when did you get into, was this your first band, or were you in other
Tetrarch
bands?
was my first band, yeah.
Oh,
Me and Josh, we started jamming in the 8th grade.
No.
I met him in the 7th grade, but I think in the 8th grade, he was the only, him and another guy, our first drummer ever named Tyler, were the only two in our grade that, like, kind of liked rock and stuff. They weren't really into metal. I kind of brought that in there. But Josh loved Metallica. That was the only he loved Green Day though and stuff like that.
Okay.
But they played guitar, so I was like, if I can just kind of get in there and like hang out with them. Josh actually did not want me in the band. Like, he was like, I don't want a girl. And I remember our old drummer, he was like, I think we should just give her a chance, you know? So like, I went over there and started jamming with them on some covers. Like,
did you blow their mind?
And Josh was like, oh, I think this is pretty cool, you know? So we just started jamming, playing, like, the talent show. We weren't Tetrarch yet.
Right.
Just playing the talent show, playing little gigs here and there, like, you know, at little, like, park birthdays and, you know, all kind of weird stuff. And I think we officially kind of became Tetrarch in 2008. But we didn't start getting serious and, like, touring and playing big shows and stuff till probably, like, 2012-ish, or 2011-ish. But yeah, it was like a gradual process. We started off just as like friends jamming, and like we loved to play music.
And I guess you had day jobs and you had
We did not. We just played music.
That's cool.
We just like.
So you didn't have to say goodbye and take that jump. You were just in.
No, I remember our parents. I look back. I'm like, dang, no, they were awesome. They would like drive me across town to like my friend's house every day so we can practice. It was like cool. I lived 30 minutes from the school, so it was like they would drive me to my friend's house, to Tyler's house, our old drummer. We would play every day, all day, and then they would come pick me up. This was before we could drive. So it was like that's what we did. Me and Josh have just been doing that for so long together.
That's awesome, though.
Just in different capacities.
To like have them be your closest friends, and to be with them and to go experience all these things with them, it has to be pretty special.
And I think that helps a lot too. It's different than when you have a band full of strangers that come together,
right, and
you hope it works. It's like they're my best friends, so it's like we all know each other perfectly. And Ryan, our bass player, came along a couple years later, but I've still known him for 8 years now,
right,
or 9, almost 10. So it's like those are my best friends. So I think that helps us a lot.
Hell yeah, you're on a permanent road trip, right?
I know. We have a blast. So.
That's so cool. Well, I appreciate you taking time to talk with me. We're gonna post up all your links and socials and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. Are there any like fan groups or any other sites like we should dig around or tell people to dig around and find information about you?
So obviously our normal socials like Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, stuff like that. We have tetrarchmusic.com, which is our actual official website. Mm-hmm. We're actually going to be launching in the next couple months like an actual fan club on there for people like to get like stuff early, tickets early, all kinds of like cool content early and stuff like that. So they can check that out and keep an eye on that because we'll be dropping some stuff on there.
And I have to ask like the obvious question: new music and tour plans to end this off.
Yeah, so new music wise, we're looking at sometime towards the end of the year getting that geared up. We're writing now. It's sounding really. We have huge plans for this next record, So that's gonna be great. So that's in preparation now, but by the end of the year we should be getting that going. And then as far as touring, we have some more tours coming up. Aren't announced yet. Going into some of the festivals like Epicenter and Edgefest and Idaho we're playing. And then we have a couple festivals we haven't announced yet.
I wish you guys were doing Sonic Temple.
I know, that'd be great, right?
I'm excited for that one for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and I look forward to the show tonight. Will I hear any new music tonight?
Nah.
Oh, all right.
I was about to lead you on, but I just didn't do it.
Oh, man. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, man.